Notre Dame, Baylor survived back-and-forth affairs to secure spots in title game. Muffet McGraw kicked off Final Four weekend on Thursday afternoon with a serious and vitally significant viral video, sitting up on the press conference dais and eloquently championing gender equality both in sports and society. A day later, the coach had ample reason to celebrate. After a this rivalry, assistant coach Niele Ivy begins, smile wide, in the locker room, before trailing off. A lot of teams, it had been said all week, these was the greatest rivalry in women's college basketball. It had been said, in the beginning, though, the teams traded brick for brick and turnover for turnover. The game began it was really ugly, we were shooting ourselves in the foot, Ivy says. We needed to get out of the Irish, a team that entered this season with talk of possibly having the most talented starting rotation in college basketball history, but went on to stumble with 3 losses, including to the Huskies, in December. Used down in the second half. The offense began in the second half. Eric did what Eric does, McGraw says. She really came along, but for most of the second half, the two teams simply traded baskets back and forth. In recent days, but still, after a series of breakdowns on both sides of the ball, they trailed 64-55 with just under 8 minutes left. The momentum in the air, but in the Irish's huddle, there was no worry, no panic. We had coach a little bit stressed, Shepard says. But we knew that and so that's what the Irish did. They locked in defense, it was poetry in motion, Ivy says. The extra pass, soon, the 9-point deficit had turned into a tie game, 66-66, with just over 4 minutes left. Then there was Ogunbo, with Notre Dame up 3 and just under a minute remaining. It would take one more defensive stop. Of course it sent its coach dancing. And, as the buzzer sounded, McGraw was engulfed by a mass of coaches and players. They were hugging. 3 hours earlier, as the final buzzer sounded for the first game of the night, Kim Mulkey did not celebrate. She did not yell, it was that kind of game. Coming into Friday night, the first Final Four game was pegged as a battle of two drastically different styles: Oregon's freewheeling, three-point hoisting, new age aesthetic versus Baylor's concerted. The question going into the game was which team would be able to assert its particular style of play? Who would be able to? It turned out that, in many ways, both teams did. I think that style that they play is very good for their personnel, Mulkey said. It's been very blessed. The style seesawed back and forth every time the ball changed possession, with Oregon looking to push, spread the floor and launch jumpers, and Baylor attempting to slow it down and feed the ball into the post. At varying times, at the beginning, the Bears came out slow and seemed too intent to establish their game plan at times, forcing the ball into their two dominant low-post scorers Brown, 22 points on 9 of 12 shooting, and 64 forward Lauren Cox, 21 on 9 of 140, resulting in turnovers, offensive fouls and several 3-second violations. The Ducks started hot. Baylor soon steadied, leaning on its stymieing defense led by guard Didi Richards, who tirelessly chased Ionescu around the court like she was moonlighting as her shadow in the 1-2 punch of their own Waco version of the Twin Towers. Soon, it would go back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, for the next 30 minutes, with Oregon running and driving and launching threes, hitting 12 of 32 on the game, and Baylor often pulling back the tempo and desperately looking to get the ball inside. For most of the first, again Baylor steadied, even as Oregon switched into a 1-2-2 zone to try to protect the paint. Guard Chloe Jackson, with just under a minute left, and the game tied at 67, Jackson took the ball at the top of the key, seemingly looking to set up the offense the way she had all game slowly. But instead of waiting, it seemed fitting, after winning their 4 tournament games by 25+ points, only the third team to ever do so, Baylor needed to fight and claw for every second in order to earn its first trip to the NCAA championship game since winning it all in 2012. I am still in shock, I am overwhelmed, Brown said. I am just happy. Related slideshow: best of the NCAA tournaments provided by Iman.
I keep fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.